The vegans are an example of where we've gone terribly wrong in life and our outlook. They think that somehow we can stop killing animals, that we can stop that brutality because they think it is just so violent to kill those sweet little animals so we can eat. But of course, they're living off of a world that was created from eating those animals. I mean, everything around them are meat eaters that are keeping everything going so they can live in this fantasy of a world with no brutality. And they also project onto the animals this consciousness that's like their own. They think the animals love them, and they don't realize, or they don't want to realize, that if you feed a dog, it will come to you no matter what. They're just motivated by instinct. They don't have language. They don't have any kind of depth of thought that people think they do. Because if they did, it would be torturous. They would just be going insane if they could think of all the stuff we think of and couldn't do anything with it. I mean, look around our world, driving cars themselves, stores, concrete, this camera I'm looking into. I mean, all of this intelligence that makes our consciousness is shown outwardly by the things that we do. And if we didn't do them, we'd go crazy having to think of all this stuff and having no outlet for it. And if they could think of all this stuff, they would go insane too. But they're very happy doing nothing but eating and sleeping and having sex because that is the level that they live on. They're just above plants and they eat each other. Animals' life feeds on life, and this whole idea that you can somehow escape in your mind to a place where that pain doesn't exist is just completely ludicrous. And that we've entertained it as something possible has to do with our idea of heaven and our own hope that somehow we can make all the bad go away. And what we can do is work on the bad that's in front of us, and that will move us to a new space with new bad. Because if we ever get to a place without bad to work on, then we're not going to have anything to do. But the whole world has good and bad in it, and those two interact with each other to make progress. And that's all we're after here is progress, is moving forward, and sometimes feel better than others and sometimes feel worse, and then we have to just really fight to bring the good back, and sometimes feel really good and then we lose sight of our purpose and the bad comes back in, which is what's happened recently. Me and my wife talk a lot about the fact that we grew up in the 80s as kids, 70s and 80s, like the golden age, because everything was really going good. We had plenty of personal problems in our personal life, but society functioned so much better than it does now. And then that's what happens. It gets too good and you forget to pay attention, and the stuff creeps in and starts bringing you down. And that's what we need to bring the good back in force. And it's going to take effort to get things back to a place where we understand that there's good and bad and that that's okay. We use those two things to move forward.